Can the Philippou brothers really strike twice? Let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review. Bring her back. The newest film from directors Daniel and Michael Philippou. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Philippou brothers are back with their follow-up to the pretty big hit that was Talk to Me. Bring Her Back is very much a grief-stricken movie. It's a movie about a brother and sister who, in essence, lose their father and are sent to a foster home run by a character who's played by Sally Hawkins. She has a young son who's named Ollie, and then a daughter that passed away that is very much in her mind. And as the movie moves along, it basically deals with grief as the Sally Hawkins character starts to inhibit some really disturbing ideologies. And it's also about gaslighting because she is attempting to cause the young boy, the son of the daughter and son, to inhibit some really emotional problems that she may or may not be causing. And it basically leads down to a road, which I don't want to spoil because I feel like it has a really good, interesting twist and really good, interesting story when it comes to what it's trying to say. But it's a movie about basically a foster home mother who inhibits some really weird, chaotic messings, I guess you could say. So in that essence, the Philippou brothers are coming off a pretty sizable hit when it comes to Talk to Me. I mean, not like $100 million hit, but like a sizable hit for what A24 is known for doing. And so they're going to do another Talk to Me movie, but they're also given a bigger budget and a bigger acting pedigree when it comes to this movie with Sally Hawkins, who of course got nominated for Shape of Water, is of course wonderful in the Paddington movies. And so therefore them going to the realm of grief again when it comes to horror is kind of up their wheelhouse at this point. But the question remains, can they reinvent that wheelhouse and create something really interesting and unique? And once again, this was the mystery movie, of course, of the week for AMC, Regal, and Cinemark. And what I will say for my honest review of this movie is it absolutely does reinvent what their wheelhouse is. It has gaslighting, it has grief, it has all the stuff that they talk about and Talk to Me, but it does it really interestingly. It does it very viscerally, and I think this is a really wonderful movie. I think it's a horrifying movie when it comes to the scary nature of what it's trying to do, the tense nature of what it's trying to do. There's some really disturbing moments that may put people off. But I think what the Philippou brothers have been able to do, or what are good at showing, is grief in a really kind of sad, unsettling force. Grief is very disturbing. It's hard to deal with. It's a thing that puts people in different perspective in different states of minds. It can cause, traumatic PTSD. It can cause, a look back on your life. And therefore, having a movie like this, having a story like this is really interesting because you can do a horror element type of movie, but talk about really potent, really important themes. It really feels like the Philippou brothers have really a lot of stuff they have to get off their chest, and they like to do it in a horrifying fashion because Talk to Me in this movie has some really graphic content. But I think Sally Hawkins is amazing in this movie. I think she plays unsettling very, very well. I think the way she acts, the way she treats everyone, the way she gaslights the son is really interesting. I think Sora Wong, who actually in real life has coloboma and microphilia. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. It's basically like a blindness issue and some lost vision and stuff like that. And they use it to the strengths because they have a character named Andy, who's played by, of course, Billy Barratt, who has to take care of her. And when you have a character like the Sally Hawkins Laura character and how she's using that against them, it's really fascinating to watch because, Piper really depends on her brother, and therefore when things don't go well, it's a really interesting thing to see. And I think Sora Wong does a fantastic job and is really remarkable in this movie. And I think Billy Barratt has he has a thankless role in this movie, but really fascinating in its own right. But it's really Sally Hawkins and Sora Wong who are the standouts of this movie and do a really fantastic job. And then you have Jonah, Wren, Phillips, who plays Ollie or Oliver, who is led down a really interesting path and is really kind of the MacGuffin for what this movie is trying to do. Because I don't want to get into like too many details, but it really is an interesting kind of look into grief and look into what you're willing to do when you're trying to deal with that grief and how do you handle it. And once again, Jonah, Wren, Phillips, Ollie character is that MacGuffin, that kind of linchpin to what that is trying to do. But this movie is just, it's beautifully shot. plot. It shows that the Philippou brothers really have a good grasp on what they want to tell. Would I like to see them do something in like the comedy or drama realm? Sure, why not? You know, this is they seem like they are competent enough to do kind of pretty much anything, and I hope they keep creating these types of films, because when they go into, I'm sure they're going to be offered like the big budget Marvel slash, you know, big high budget films. I feel like this is where they really kind of get they're really good at creating really interesting ideas. And once again, this is a movie with some really interesting violence, some really interesting disturbing content. It's going to be really graphic for some people. It's going to make people squeamish because of what some of the stuff it does in this movie. But I think a movie that features 4 characters and that's pretty much it really helps the brothers kind of hone in what they want to say. And I like the fact that it takes place kind of like in a compound in a lot of respects in the middle of the woods. I like the idea that, you know, how a brother and sister handle the loss of a father or a parent. And I just really like what this movie is trying to do and what it's trying to say. And the fact that it is wrapped around in a horror film is really interesting, because sadness and gaslighting, it's really interesting. I think the only problem I have with this movie is it gets a little convoluted in some points. And that's just because they're trying to be really interesting in their take and interesting in what they're trying to say. And so sometimes the message gets lost in the wake of everything. But that's really all I have a problem with. You know, it's only an hour and 45 minutes. It has a great runtime. It's filled with great performances. It's great. It's filled with a great story. It could be a little bit longer, but I think the Philippou brothers have once again proven that they're very talented at what they do. You know, they came from the YouTube space or whatever they came from, and they have a good head on their shoulders. They know what they want to say. They know how they want to say it, and I love the idea of grief and horror films. I think it's fantastic, and I think it really works here. And once again, Sally Hawkins and Sora Wong do fantastic. You know, could almost be Oscar-worthy performances. They're just that good in this movie. So overall, really liked Bring Her Back. One of the better horror films I've seen this year so far, and definitely recommend. Once again, just know going in that it's very, very graphic and disturbing and can unsettle some people. So there you go. But with that said, that is my take on Bring Her Back, the Philippou brothers' newest movie. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below. What did you think of Talk to Me? Are you looking forward to Bring Her Back? Have you seen Bring Her Back? What do you think overall? But otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, guys.